First podcast back in our studio, aka our office. Podcast studio at 37 Steen Street. Welcome back, Dan.
I love it. I know, I was about to say we've got a...
We're joined by a little rascal today. Mia, say hello.
Say hello.
Now she's all shy for the microphone. She's just eaten her kuluri bread, so hopefully she won't bother us too much. But we wanted to punch this out just to get back in the weekly swing of the podcast. We've carved out Wednesday lunchtime as our podcasting time, so...
We haven't done too bad. It's Wednesday at 3 o'clock.
I said Wednesday. Lunchtime's anywhere from 12 till 3. So it's 3 o'clock and we're punching it out. So I've said punching it out 4 times, so I've come up with a new phrase. We asked our members for some questions this week and they have delivered with a couple of beauties. Especially, well, actually, we'll do all of them, but we'll save, in our opinion, I guess, the biggest discussion point for last, and that's based around nutrition and kids. It was a really good question.
I did love it. Weren't you going to do an intro about the gym?
Oh, an intro. Well, now you've ruined it. Now it's an intro. But I was going to say yes.
Sorry, guys. We do want to talk about
Yes.
what we've actually been doing since we've been back in here.
True.
It's been very exciting for us.
Yeah, it's my intro for the gym. Here it comes. We've been open for 2 weeks and it's been fantastic.
It has.
We're ecstatic to be back open. Everyone's wrapped, been back training. Thank you, Mia. We've welcomed heaps of new people, which has been awesome. They're all slotted into our community really well. So welcome to all those new guys, especially if you haven't heard one of our podcasts before. Maybe don't play it in the car. Danielle has a potty mouth.
That's not true.
Apart from that, welcome aboard. And I guess we'll get stuck into it. Oh, another thing. Our nutrition program, our initial participants. Do we call them participants?
Clients.
They're already
I don't really
clients.
like clients.
I don't really like clients.
Yeah.
Ass kickers.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Black belts. Students. We'll call them students because then it makes us like teachers.
Yeah.
Our nutrition students are coming towards the end of their initial 12-week
We have a couple.
program. Yeah. A few will be continuing on, like same as they would with training, which is great. But a couple will be finishing up their journey. So if you are interested in finding out more, I guess, or even applying for a position, they are extremely limited. Like we can't take on everyone, unfortunately. We only have so many hours in the day. And now that the gym's opened up again, it's like put even more emphasis on our ability to not do too much. So we are taking in 2 people as of end of next week. So if you're interested in our nutrition program, and why wouldn't you be? It's bloody awesome. Everyone's done outstandingly well, which is fantastic. We're super pumped about it, actually.
Results have, I think, exceeded every expectation I had.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Everyone's done... Not that we didn't think they wouldn't do well. It was just that they've just blown the expectations out of the water. It's been awesome. Yeah. Anyway, that was my intro. Thank you, Dan. First question from Deb. FitBits, yes or no? I'm curious as to whether it would be helpful to get one or not.
Yes, and I think any type of activity tracker.
Wearable is the fitness wearables.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
it's the space.
Sorry. Lucky I've got the hip pen here to correct me.
Anyway.
Is valuable, especially now given that everybody's movement is less than it would usually be. So most people are still working from home and that kind of thing. We're definitely not moving as much as we used to, myself included. Like I can't believe my average step count. Like if I compared the same time last year to this year, it would be phenomenal. So anything that kind of helps assist you in that area is fantastic. And also, like most of them now track so much more than activity as well.
Yeah, sleep.
Yeah, like recovery. And that's so huge. We always talk about that. Like people put a huge emphasis on activity. However, no one kind of investigates or looks at the recovery side.
Someone comes in, I absolutely nailed my recovery yesterday.
No one, never.
Never. I would give them a high five if they did. COVID be damned. I'd be like, God damn it, yes. Slept like a champ.
So, yeah.
Give me some.
Yeah, there is definitely a lot to gain from that. And I think if we invested more in things like that were to benefit our health, then we would be a lot better.
I do caution people with the wearables often. If you expect it to be 100%
Yeah.
spot on, you're going to be disappointed, especially people go, how many calories do I burn in a session? And it's always based around the calorie stuff. Like no one's really upset if their steps are out by 1,000 or 2, but if their calories aren't spot on, it's like, oh, I ate a Kit Kat and maybe I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
So I would caution you against taking the calories as gospel. Just to give you an idea, so I've got 2 on at the moment. I've got a Whoop strap and a Garmin. I personally prefer the Garmin just because I like the step count and like it can actually tell me the time. The Whoop is just like a blank
Also,
bracelet on my
it does
wrist.
depend what you do. Like
Yeah,
we use our
yeah.
Garmins obviously a lot because
All the
of
time.
what we do for a living.
Yeah, the Whoop strap's cool. Like it's given me a general indication on like sleep and my recovery. What it's basically taught me, it gives you like a recovery score every day. Like out of 100%, it'll say, based on your sleep score and your heart rate and all this stuff, you're at about 60%. What it's basically done is just confirm to me what an absolute pussy I am most days, where I'm like, God, I'm tired. And it's like, actually, you're at 90%, so shut up and get your session done. I'm like, damn it. So like I have no out anymore. So that's been quite good. Like I think, so much of how we feel is based on our mentality at that time compared to physically how we are at that stage. Like we are ready to go more often than not. But back to the calorie stuff. So my Whoop strap, I feel, is much more accurate than the Garmin, especially for heart rate and calorie burn. It regularly tells me that I've burned about 2,500 in the day, which is what I know to be like roughly about correct. Either way by 100 or 200 or 300. My Garmin will be like, you've burnt 4,500 calories. I'm like, if I ate 4,500 calories, I would be the side of a house.
Size.
What? Side of a house. Thank you, Apple. But like so that is where like I'd just be wary of the calories. So use it as an activity tracker, not as a like this is how much I can eat tracker.
Yeah, that's like everything though, guys. Like, use it for what it's worth. Like, it isn't gospel; it is a guide.
Yes.
And why are we moving? Are we moving to get our exact calorie count for the day so we know
10,000
exactly
steps on the
how
dot?
much we should eat? No,
Yeah.
like that's not how we live our lives.
It's to raise awareness.
Yeah, that's
to be like,
it.
oh, I'm not moving much today. I should probably go for a walk. If it makes you do that, it's already worth its weight in gold.
Absolutely.
If you're sitting on your couch, shaking your wrist up and down because you're in a steps competition, it's probably gone too far.
Agree.
Wearables, though, on the whole, it's a tick from BD.
Yeah, thumbs up.
We should get custom ones. All right. This next one's a good one. So, how to use training at BD Fitness as a complementary program to further other fitness pursuits.
Ooh, I like it.
So this would be like if you play a sport or you do something else that you would consider your like primary activity. So, for a long time I played cricket and that was more important to me than how much I could lift on a bench press. It's like, how to use gym work to like assist you with that.
Yeah. So the first thing I'd do is I would ask myself why. Like, what role does BD Fitness play in the entire umbrella of your training goals? So, like, why are you training at BD Fitness? Is it to get some resistance work in? Is it because you just want to up your movement? Is it because you want to lose a bit of weight? Like, find out that why. That would be the first step.
Yeah. Once you have clarity, like everything falls into line off that. So this person who's asked this question, Adam, I know, does a lot of jiu-jitsu. So if the jiu-jitsu to him is number one, then it's like, all right, so what can I do at BD that will help my jiu-jitsu? And it would be like improve your conditioning, be more flexible. Like, you don't need to be strong as an ox. So make sure that you're moving with like great quality. Like, if you have the two on the same day, make sure that training in here is like not going to tire you out. Like, it's going to prime you almost. So once you've kind of ironed out your why, like any decision that you have to make, like, should I go heavy on this, will just already be made for you. It's, I was saying to you off air that that it was something that I did really badly as a part-time amateur / crap athlete. Was like I put way too much stock in the gym. I would train Monday to Friday and then be like, oh, my hands are really sore on Saturday. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Like
more, and this is still one of the most common things we see. More is not better, guys.
Nah,
better is better.
Start at the top and work back. So it's like, all right, my competition is on Saturday. I'm not going to train on Friday. I want to be as rested and prepared as possible. You know, I'm going to squeeze it in Monday, Wednesday, Thursday or something like that. Like structure your weeks around
to
or
benefit
your
you.
months around when you best need to perform.
Yes.
And that will help you make all the decisions that you need. Like if you've got a competition on the weekend, probably not the time to be lifting a heavy 3 on a deadlift on a Thursday. Yeah. You might be like, hey, Ben, I've got a competition on the weekend. I don't really want to be smashed. It's like maybe I could do light kettlebell deadlifts. Like just move, feel good, but don't smash yourself.
And that's another thing I was going to mention, which obviously Adam knows because he trains here. But no matter where you train, so like people that don't train here that listen to this podcast,
which you should if you're out there. Hey, you should.
Making your coaches aware of your why you are training, and seeking help from them. Us knowing that you've got a competition, we can easily adjust what we do in our session for you to benefit you.
Yeah, same way as if a person's injured.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like we will cater our program to your goal as best we can.
Yeah.
You know, if your goal is more physical, then you can basically do our program as it is. If your goal is more sporting, athletic, then a couple of adjustments need to be made. You know, it's a good... Like, we obviously believe it's a really good gym program, but it's certainly not the perfect program for everyone.
Well, there is, like we always say, there is no one size fits all. So
no, yeah, that's right. So
I think this is a tool that is just underutilized in life. Like this, I see this so much across, obviously, our training and our nutrition. Communication.
Oh, yeah.
Like just letting people know what you're actually trying to do.
Yeah. What I tell you, I was like...
people don't know what's inside your head.
Relationship advice, guys. We're going into relationship advice. It's like,
No.
I am not a mind reader, Danielle.
We are not mind readers.
You speak your mind and then we will handle it.
I've never had a problem speaking my mind.
I can't guess when you're upset and when you're happy. Your face looks the same.
Jeez.
Yes. So, and this is with everyone who trains with us. I know we've got a few guys who are keen runners. Like, the more we know, the better we can help you. And I say that to everyone in their initial appointment is like, we want to learn as much about you as we can so that any advice I give you will be hopefully a good help rather than like, oh, thanks, mate. Yeah, awesome. I need to sleep more. Like, everyone already knows that. It's like, well, what can help me? Danielle's agreeing. She's just grabbing me some more bread. Anyway, speaking of bread, the next question is about nutrition for kids. So,
yay!
How do we handle, and this is such a broad topic, we'll try not to waffle for too long because we love talking about this stuff, especially Dan. Nutrition for kids. Firstly, let's start with portion sizes. So, the person who's asked this question is in our nutrition program and is crushing. And I know her that she's like more switched onto this than most other people are that I've met. So well ahead of the curve. But still, you know, like we're trying to make a strength here. Like a strength stronger, I should say. Like, you know, just because you're good at something doesn't mean you can't be any better at it.
Yep.
So how do we get our kids to eat things that they don't like, but if we're having it for dinner?
Ooh, can I just start with, this is very controversial, and
it's not really. You're not a controversial person.
Oh, a lot of parents won't like it. Like, one thing that surprises me all the time is parents say, oh, my kids don't eat this, my kids don't eat that, my kids are so fussy, my kids that, my kids that. What child do you know that does the grocery shopping in a household? Okay, so like
None.
The environment that we surround our children with is first and foremost their biggest challenge.
Yeah.
Like, if you're surrounded by packets and your parents are eating out of packets, what child wouldn't want a packet?
Yep. I want
Whereas
packets.
if their environment reflects what you're trying to do, so if, it's really important to you that your kids eat well, and you explain to them why, then your house will be full of things that support that. So, lots of whole foods. Like, we always have, I'm a big believer in having the fruit bowl out. Okay, because having that visual, the first thing the kids ask for when they're hungry in our house is fruit.
William is a fussy eater, but there is nothing he loves more than a golden kiwi after dinner. He sits down like an old Italian at the Degani's, crushes his golden kiwi and loves it. But he also knows that ice cream isn't an option in our house. Sometimes it is, we're not bloody Nazis over here on the ice cream, but, it's just not like he wouldn't even ask on a Tuesday.
Yeah. The big point I want to make is with the kids, you are in control.
With your own results as well, like it carries over. It's like our actions, like our kids start to mirror what we think is important. Like if our kids are fussy, like do they hear us complaining about the vegetables? And I'm guilty of this all the time. I'm like, geez, I hate sprouts. And like that's not helping them because they go, oh, Dad hates sprouts. Oh, he didn't have many, if any.
I was about to say, William jumps on that.
Oh, yeah.
Ben doesn't eat mushrooms.
Yeah. Oh, I hate mushrooms. I don't care if he doesn't eat them. But, it's like, okay, so what sort of example are we setting? Like, are we eating meals at the table, without our iPads and phones there? Are we trying new stuff? Are we, focusing on foods that make us feel good and that are, like, nutritious? Are we explaining to them why they are nutritious? So it's like, is there some kind of education that's happening there as well? I think, just before you go, the biggest one that I can put my finger on that helped with a fussy kid was in ISO. We obviously ate all our meals at home as everyone did, but we included William a lot with the meal choices. What vegetables do you want? What meat? What's for tea?
Yeah.
And that helped a lot. Like it gave him a bit of ownership over his plate because he wouldn't kick up a stink then because he's like, well, I chose it. Not that he kicks up a stink anyway, but
I think
he wouldn't turn his nose up.
Obviously, it depends on how old the children are.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like,
He's
for
8,
example,
just for reference.
we can control absolutely everything Mia eats. Yeah, she's not really exposed.
She's 20 months for those at home. Yeah.
Yeah, so Mia's not 2 yet. So we can control everything. She doesn't go to daycare. She doesn't have food other than what we let or allow her to have. Whereas
apart from those pesky grandparents, they can test us out sometimes.
Whereas once your kids are in environments that you can't control, just remember to control the controllable. So, for example, when William was younger and he started going to a kinder that provided the food, there was nothing I could do about the food provided in the centre. However, all I could do was control the food outside of that and educating him. So as they get older, education is like so big, I think, in the kids. Like William will often say comments that really make us smile. Like
he says it for like a pat on the back though.
I think he does.
I wouldn't eat that, am I right, Ben? I'm like, all right, mate, settle down.
Yeah, like or he'll say, oh, this is healthy. Like, for example, if we're really having a meal we enjoy, oh, like I'm really enjoying this. I can have as much of this as I like because it's healthy.
Yeah.
So things like, not restricting whole foods and like just explaining, the things that are less optimal, that, they are sometimes foods. Like it's okay to have them.
Yeah. It's not something that we want to make a habit of, and then explain why, because, like it puts it at an increased risk of being sick or not sleeping well, like just small stuff. You don't have to be overly aggressive and say because we don't want to be obese or something like that. It's more just like, oh, okay, because you won't have as much energy to bounce on the trampoline.
Yeah, and our kids like they love being active, and so framing it in a way that they really understand. And
it's like trying to make food as relatable to like something else as possible. Like I was reading an article, and it was explaining how to, like make kids invested in their food, and it was like a really good one, maybe especially for 3 to 5 year olds is associating foods with like like superhero. You know, like eat your meat and you'll be big and strong. You know, like your protein, healthy carbohydrates like rice and potatoes will help you have lots of energy at the park. You know, like you'll be really speedy. You know, and like colorful vegetables help your eyesight. The rainbow and all that sort of stuff. It's like giving them a reason to eat it, to get excited about it. It's like, I know you mightn't love the taste of this, but this is what you can expect.
Yeah.
You know, like healthy fats will make you smarter. You know, just small stuff like that. Like, and I don't know about you as a kid, but like at least that stuff that's kind of true. Like all I was told was like, oh, you'll get square eyes from the TV. Like what a bunch of malarkey. Like at least healthy fats will make you smarter is sort of true. Yeah, you know, and like will make you feel good if you eat lots of fruit and vegetables. Like just all sorts of stuff like that.
Yeah. So yeah, it does really depend on what age they're at. So obviously you have a lot more control when they're older when they're younger.
Less control when they're older.
As they get older, education is just key.
Which they're not going to get at school. Like
No.
we got none of that at school. We had some giraffe bloke come in and tell us about condoms like once at primary school. We knew nothing about food. Sex ed and food and nutrition and PE was awful. So like it is largely up to us, the parents, to kind of shape their beliefs and their values around food. And it's not
just, let us reiterate, and like a post that you did recently was, it's what they see, it's not what you say.
At Ben BD Fit.
I'll listen to him promoting himself.
I'm looking for more followers. It's embarrassing.
So it's what they see day in, day out. You know, are they seeing you, buy junk food every time you fill up with petrol?
Yeah.
Is that what they see? Or are they seeing every day you have a nice healthy breakfast and grabbing a piece of fruit?
Are they helping you with cooking? You know, like
William loves getting involved.
It's like, God, it makes everything so long, but he loves it. You know, like he chopped up carrots one day. Oh my God. It was so bad. Our meal looked terrible, but like he was pumped about it. He's like, I chopped the carrots. Like he wore it like a badge of honor. But meals that he enjoys that you can make quite healthy, like he loves making his own wraps. Yeah. We can control the ingredients to that. He loves making his own homemade pizza. Again, we can make sure that all the ingredients are super healthy and high quality. Yep. And meat and veg, like he gets the olives out, like just
fun with kids, like smiley faces. Like
they love craft crap. Geez. Oh my God, I hate it. But anytime they can use their hands, he's all over it. Yeah.
So make it fun and exciting. Coming back to the question was actually about portion sizing.
Oh yeah.
I would not worry for children if
quality first.
Quality 100%. Any whole foods we would never restrict in our house. It's only the processed stuff that we restrict, and they understand why. And like just having better options. So like,
see you, Mia.
For example, we always have no refined sugar like ice cream in our house. So we always have panna. And the kids love it.
God, they hoover it up.
Yeah, and again, we only have that sometimes. But when we do have it, it's still a better option than... maybe ice cream he'd have when we were out, which would be very rare. Yeah. If we're going out and he got like a ice cream scoop in a cone.
Yeah. 100%. I hope that kind of answers the question. It's obviously something that, us being nutrition coaches and PTs, like we talk about it a lot, and it's fair to say that we're pretty passionate about it. And with this, guys, it's important, same as anything. You don't have to do everything at once. Like, you don't have to wake up tomorrow and be like, I'm going to this and that, and they're going to cook with me. Like, just focus on one thing at a time. Slowly introduce, okay, young kid, what would you like for tea? And that's it. Yeah. There you go. You can still cook, you still shop, but they then have a bit of an input. Yeah. You want chips, how about roast potatoes? Yeah. So like it's sort of close, it's sort of crispy, but obviously it's not cooked in a gallon of vegetable oil. Yeah. So it's healthier.
I actually have a nutrition client at the moment who has adult children and is still looking to influence their decisions, which I think is just amazing. Like, that's one thing that I could really relate to as a parent. Just And by that person actioning and doing our nutrition coaching and them learning, they're still showing their kids who are, my age. Like, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like, you're never too old to change your behaviors or your habits. Like, all that's required is that you want to do it.
Yeah.
No one can force you to do anything, but if this is something that you're trying to actively change, then you're halfway there. All you have to do is just take action.
Yeah, exactly. And like, that is one thing with the kids. Like, we were just saying how you're in control of their environment. You're in control of what they eat. When it comes to nutrition, we are in so much, like, we do have so much control, yet people feel like they can't action it.
Yeah.
So let that...
I think it's because the task seems so overwhelming. Like, if you look at your kids' diets now, objectively look, and they're nowhere near where they should be or want them to be, it can be like, oh God, where do I start?
Yeah.
But like, same as with anyone's, like if you're overweight and you're unfit and you got a sore back and you got a, like, you don't know where to start. It's important that you do start. Once you start and you're on the path, just start with something really easy.
Yeah.
So it's okay, rather than cooking, rather than getting a hot dog for tea, like Frankfurt. So yeah. I'm just going to swap them to organic hot dogs.
Yeah.
They taste the same. They're just a little bit more expensive.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, I don't want to spend $10 for 3 hot dogs all the time, so I better start cooking healthier stuff.
Yeah.
And then you just slowly make the transition back.
Yeah, that is something that we talk about all the time, just being a little bit better.
Yeah, a little bit better, not perfect.
Just a little bit better each time.
Better. BD Life Coaches, anyways, for another episode. Our final question today before we let you get on with whatever you're doing. All right, this is a longer one, but I think it's really important to touch on. It mightn't fit in the theme of this podcast. Yes, it will. But I have been thinking about longer term maintenance type training. No specific time or goal, just a part of life. Plateau has a bit of a negative connotation, and I don't think I'm there, but I also don't necessarily think I'm working towards anything, and I'm perfectly okay with that. Does that make any sense at all? Absolutely it does.
I'm just trying to think who that was.
Oh, I'll tell you who it is later.
I think I know who it will be, just based on that.
It's like, okay, our industry is fairly obsessed with setting goals. Like, what are you working towards? Like this and that. And whilst we are big advocates of setting a good goal, not a crap goal, a good goal, they're not needed all the time. Goals have the most amount of value for people who are struggling to get started or struggling to get motivated. If you are started and if you are motivated, you do not need to set monthly goals every time you chat to a trainer. I can't remember the last time I had a physical goal. When was the last time you had a physical goal?
Well, being pregnant for the last few years.
What was the goal? Yeah. Right.
Those goals have kind of gone out the window. Just being able to move is kind of my goal.
My last goal that I ticked off was a rehab goal. How boring is that?
Yeah, well, let's not talk about your embarrassing goals. You often have physical goals, I'd say.
Yeah, but like they're
just taking
goals
the mickey,
that are
or...
sometimes they're goals that are like, if I just follow the process, I'll get their goals. They're not like I'm going out of my way to achieve them goals. So it's like, I don't have to change anything about my programming or nutrition to...
Ben, that doesn't sound like a smart goal to me.
Yeah, but I'm motivated and I'm started. Like, I don't need to set a smart goal. So training for,
general
health and well-being does not require constant tracking and updating of goals. That is the goal.
Yeah.
I just want to be generally healthy and well.
You're at a pretty good point.
Yeah, how good's that?
Yeah.
What a great space to be in.
Yeah.
I don't need to, be in a healthier space in regards to body weight or training out of an injury or, get stronger because, every time I pick up my kid, my back hurts, all this stuff that's important to kind of move away from, or I need to be healthier because I'm sick all the time. Yep. If you're not in that space, and it's I move well because it makes me feel better. I
love it.
That's the best goal ever.
I love it. People
And I know what you mean, where it's like,
want to be at that point for their entire life.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And plateau does have a bit of a negative connotation, I get, but the goal doesn't even have to be physical. It can be like mindset wise, like how do I feel about plateauing? Am I okay with it? You know, like progress is not always, oh, I can squat a little bit more, or I've lost a centimeter off my navel. It's like, oh, I'm actually really comfortable with
Your
having
goal could
2 or
be
3
to
months where
maintain.
I haven't improved and I've maintained
Yeah.
in what's been a really stressful year.
Yeah, you talk a lot. All you need to say was maintain.
Huh?
Like their goal can be to
I'm
maintain.
explaining it.
I know, but you just...
People listen for us to explain it.
Okay.
They don't need to explain it, they Google it.
That could be bad.
We're going to go before we have a Barney. Yeah, so no specific time or goal, just a part of life is like, okay, I'm just maintaining my mental well-being and physical well-being.
Yeah, that is still a goal. It's not having a goal. Your goal is to maintain.
Yeah.
So to maintain your training, you know, X amount of times a week.
Yep.
You know, to maintain your body composition. Like that is still a goal.
And as well, just because you're not, you know, like really drastically changing your lifestyle or training to kind of meet a goal or a project that you're working on, doesn't mean that stuff's still not happening in the background.
Yeah.
You can train to maintain your fitness and still gain lean muscle and, you know, like still make tiny little tweaks here and there that over time have a big impact without like the lifestyle and stress of including stuff, you know. So like stuff will happen in the background. Just focus on being consistent.
We love consistency.
Love consistency. I'm gonna get tattooed with consistency right on my arm. All right, Mia, we go home. All right. Well, that just about does us for today. In fact, it actually does do us for today. Thanks to those who sent in their questions. We'll look forward to doing many more in the future. We might do a bit of a... What we do next week? You had a good one, but I've forgotten it. We should write this stuff down.
Always forgets my ideas.
Yeah. That's usually because they're rubbish. All right, see ya.
Talk